Hey, what's good on this week's Toilet Time? And I finally got a chance to do the tub again, which was great. I haven't done an interview in so long, and what better way to kick off my series of interviews than with Marshall Brandon. This episode, I think you guys are really going to enjoy it, especially if you're a comedian, even if you're not a comedian, even if you're somebody who just wants to hear interesting people talk about interesting shit in my bathtub. Get it, shit. In this particular one, Marshall really opens up about what it was like for him going to Chappelle's camp, Chappelle's summer camp this past summer. So I really feel that if you're a comedian, especially if you're a comedian, then this is something that you really need to watch. There's so many gems that he drops on here, so many jewels. He lets me talk my shit, which is great. But just learning about Marshall and getting to know him even more was a blessing. So I truly believe that you guys are going to enjoy this episode as much as I did. I genuinely love this man, and I really hope that I got my Howard Stern on, and I really hope that you can see the genuine love I have for him, his generosity to me in terms of just being someone who's always given me great knowledge and always saying the right things to me and just giving me so much hope and just telling me how great I am. Lets me believe that I can do the best I can in this business. So without further ado, I don't want to hold you guys up. Please enjoy my tub segment with Marshall Brandon. Hey, I am back in the tub for the first time in a long time. Right, Hulk? We here? Yeah, okay, cool. This gentleman here has his own show, Mondays at 9. What is it called?
Full disclosure.
Full disclosure. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Show some love for my mentor, my friend, Marshall Brandon. Hey, what you doing in my tub, man? I'm such a fucking nerd, but yo, you're probably one of the smartest comedians I know.
Thank you.
Dude, the one that you had posted a while back, that one set where you were standing on that, like, I don't know, almost like it was like a booth.
Oh yeah, Laughaholics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, you doing these jokes, and it just.
It's for people to come back later.
Yeah,
in 50 years, they'll be like, oh wow,
irritating, right?
Yeah.
And so, because the thing is, I think so highly of you. So I show some of my students that in class, and I use that because, like, how about beating the shit out of a premise, an idea, and just working it until you get it to, to where it is. And the fact that you continuously, like, you work on this stuff. Where do you see yourself now as just a comic in general? Like,
well, it's like I see myself as one thing, and one thing I mentioned to them is, like, every year, it's like I only had like probably 1 year where I didn't make more money than the last year. You know what I'm saying? And that Laughaholics in particular, the whole reason why I did that was because I saw their platform when it first came out. I had the opportunity to do it, but I was like, nah. So I don't want to be the first one on their platform. And then when I started seeing, like, the TK Kirklands, AJ Johnsons, just especially more or less like TK Kirkland, it kind of, like, certain comedians that did it gave it, made it valid for me. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And so then I didn't mean to do as much time. But I knew that with their cameras, with their platforms, I could and with just that, where that show is, I could make a really good tape for them. You know what I mean? I could make a good tape for myself. Mm-hmm. So that was my main thing in doing that. Right.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, when I saw you do that, I was just like, it's all love. It's just the fact that, like, you're there and that room was the way that room was.
Yeah.
It was a tough room.
Oh yeah.
But you. The thing is, I've seen you work tough rooms, and it was like, that's not as tough as because you up there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that room was like, that's a room that I have been to over the years.
Yeah.
And so I kind of was looking forward to doing it there because at the end of the day, it becomes more about the jokes. It's like, because even if you look at the comedy, some people are like, yo, I can't believe they standing in a booth doing comedy.
Ain't that some shit? Yeah.
But that place Ray DeJohn has had that place rocking for a lot of years.
Well, so with 23 years, right? But you in that space, you still growing then.
Oh,
because you went in there just like, yo, I want this.
Every day you growing up because it's always something to grow into. It's always something bigger than you. You know what I mean? So whenever you decide,
real quick.
Yeah.
He says something bigger than you. Continue.
For real.
I just want to don't let, you know what I'm saying?
For real.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So it's like whenever you decide that you know it all, you know you don't learn nothing else.
That's so, I did this. So I've been doing some stuff out here while he's away because someone needed to hold it down while he was gone. So I took that mantle. I was holding Hartford down, everybody, while he was gone. And we'll get we'll get into that. So when I did the Musings of a Madman, I did this backyard show. I took pieces of it, and I had a couple people, tell me that my stuff was racist, and because I dropped the N-word a lot. Maybe it was a lot of frenetic energy for me saying the N-word a lot, so I can understand that to a point. But I was touching on things that I found interesting and tough to talk about, but I wanted to talk about them. The reason why I bring that up is because they were expressing themselves from a different side. And the fact that I understood that. And I also understood that we're having a conversation that's bigger than both of us. Right. And then still being able to connect. And the fact that you're understanding that, have you picked up on that more now over your years?
Yeah, because it's like, because as the years go on, the things you see are get bigger. You know what I mean? And so it's like where I was 3 years ago, I might have seen something, or 4 years ago, that was like the biggest thing I ever seen. I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? But and then it's like, as you come up, you get older, you start seeing things, and then you say, oh, I could do that, I could do that, I could do that, and then you get to a point to where you see what's really going on, and you like, God damn, like, you gotta really have respect for people who have gone beyond what you've done. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And, so definitely, that's grown over the years.
I gotta come out with this, everyone. He basically went to Disneyland for comedians.
You know
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He went to Dave Chappelle camp.
Yeah, I did. Yep, 80 days.
I want to close this curtain on his ass, but no, 80 days. All right. First of all, tell the audience, like, how you got there.
Well, I've been featuring on the road for Donnell Rollins for probably like 4 years, but
congratulations on that.
Thanks. Our relationship goes back way more years than that, almost close to 20 years. You know what I'm saying? From when the first time I went on the road, with Donnell, was me, him, and Brooklyn Mike. We went to Bermuda.
Brooklyn Mike?
Yeah. And
shit! I haven't heard that name in a minute.
Yeah, that's how I met Donnell. I met Donnell through Brooklyn Mike because at the time they were roommates. Not at the time I met him, but there was a time when they were roommates, and they're always been real close. You know what I'm saying? Like if you watch,
Brooklyn Mike was a good dude, man.
Yeah. If you watch the Charlie Murphy, not the Charlie Murphy sketch, Rick James, Brooklyn Mike was a bartender in that sketch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now he and so that was like, we went to Bermuda, and that's why I really got to know Donnell. He was like, yo, you cool. We was out there, and so over the years it was just dates I would pick up with him, and then probably like 4 going on 5 years ago, that's when he was like, yo, we went on the road. He took me on the road with him, and he's like, yo, just go look at my calendar and see what you want to be on. So
that's something else, man. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. What date did you pick? Now I gotta know. What did you pick?
I mean, there was so many of them on there. I was like, yo, but what it is when you go on the road, when somebody's doing that for you, it's not like you go look at it's really like date by date or a couple dates by a couple dates. No headliner really gonna just be like, yo, here's my whole calendar. You with me because some shit happened in 3 months, and they don't promise you dates 8 months down the line. You know what I mean? It's kind of like they don't have to take them from you. But I just everything that came up that I knew I could, that I could make or whatever. It was, I send it over to the manager, and be like, yo, I want to get on this date, and they line me up.
Isn't that wonderful when it works?
Yeah.
Like comedy works, like because. I've been just for personal. Don't forgive me. Like just you nickel and dime, you scratch and claw. And then you're in a situation where you have the opportunity you're empowered by choice. Yeah. That must have been very liberating in a way.
Yeah, it was dope. I mean, it was dope, and it was like, and I never even like, I don't get to open up for nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody don't really be one that smoke, and so when you, and that's why it was like I feel so fortunate to link up with somebody like Donnell, because it's like he want all the smoke. You know what I mean? He's one of them comedians that want all the smoke.
Now you're there. it's like now you have this mindset like, whoa, what was that like initially? What was that like when you first get there?
Well, when I first got there, it was kind of like I had been around Dave before, but maybe like a couple times, but not in a like a huge capacity. Where I mean, it was I had been to his house before, but this was like showing up. It's like so many different people there. Is other celebrities there and stuff like that, rappers, DJs. It's just kind of musicians. You know what I mean? Like it's like just like the best of the best are out there. And so now I get there, and it was kind of like getting there was kind of like validation for me and knowing that like my thought process was correct.
23 years, man.
Yeah.
And not just as a performer, as an artist, but as a man though too. Like your thought process, like being validated.
Well, just I mean, more on the like on the level of like performing. You know what I'm saying? Like as a man, it's like that I already know. You know what I'm saying?
I respect
I carry that with me. You know what I mean? Like and that's something that like I think that's something that was like I would have never even got close to being there if I already if I questioned that in a sense to where it was like where I was wearing it on the outside.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that because like for anyone who's watching this, that mindset is just it's so fucking powerful. And you get there, you're surrounded by these hitters. You feel comfortable because you felt like as a man, you felt like you've been. Now as an artist, that level of validation is a whole different. Mm-hmm. What was that like?
Well, as an artist, it was like, like cause it's like you can't, that, like I got, like when I had did the, I just caught, like I did, put it like this, okay, 2 months before I went out there, right? Mm-hmm. I was doing the full disclosure show. I had got off of that show, and I told my lady, I was like, yo, I gotta get back to my positive thinking. There's been plenty of times during my life where I had to say that to myself, yo, I gotta get back to my positive thinking. Yeah. And so I did, and I got off the phone, and a female comedian hit me from LA right as soon as I got off the phone. Right as soon as I said that to my lady, she hit me, and it was Father's Day, day after Father's Day, and so I was like, well, and we get to talking, and she's like, I'm like, how are you? She's like, well, I got to LA, I haven't had no fun since I got out here yet. I've been down. I said, well, I just finished saying before you text me that I was getting back on my positive thinking, and maybe that's why we're talking right now. Maybe, she's like, well, I haven't had any fun since I got out to LA, and I hit her back, and I said, well, who's responsible for you having fun? You know what I mean? And she's like, I am. I said, well, maybe you need to tell yourself that,
See, yeah.
And we talked, and so now and so my mind said, and then I wrote on my wall, have fun, and I wrote a few things down, and then like a week later, but I was staying with my positive thoughts. A week later, I get a call from K-Dub out of Atlanta. He down with Grand Hustle and T.I. and them, and he so he's like, yo, I got this 50 Cent show, 50 Cent private birthday party.
Oh yeah, see that's another thing too. See, yeah.
And I'm like, shit, and so it was like a week, and I'm like, damn. This and so now what I was talking about, the 2 months before all that happened, because all that happened within a week, but 2 months before that happened, I said to myself, yo, I said, I want to meet 50 Cent. I want to meet 50 Cent. I need to meet 50 Cent, right? Yeah. And so then
that's wonderful,
right? And then that was like, so then those 2 months passed. I decided to get back on my positive thinking. A week later, I'm meeting 50 Cent, shaking his hand, performed for him, got the head of his G-Unit Films and TV stuff information, spoke to them.
Nice. And
then I get a call a few days after that. Marshall, why you not up, from a mutual friend of me and Donnell's. Marshall, why you not up in Ohio with Donnell? I said, well, it ain't like he hit me like, what I said, because I didn't really know what was going on up there. I just saw a few pictures, and she was like, well, she said, Marshall, you belong up there. You need to go. And so
that's wonderful. That's dope.
Right, and that came from just she was pulled into whatever made her tell her that's kind of the frequencies that I was. I felt like I was connecting to them frequencies.
Chaos. It's like your positive thinking and matched with chaos theory.
Right.
Chaos theory is essentially where the butterfly effect, where something happens over on the West Coast, does affect something out here.
Right.
Your friend not feeling something over in LA affected what happened to you out here, possibly. You never know. It could be that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's we as humans, we're all connected. And it's great that you made that connection, and then so get the call, and then what?
I called him. I said, "Yo, D, I'm trying to pull up. I got my flight, my hotel, and all that." He said, "Yo, pull up, come." And so I get out.
I tried doing that. It didn't work. I don't have Donnell's number.
A lot of niggas did. and so I got out there, and then it was just like the madness ensued. It was just like I get there, and I'm like, damn. And like I said, I had been around before, but it was different because now we're in the middle of a pandemic, you know. So it's like you're getting out there, you're getting COVID tested, you're getting a ban, and now when you know from being in the house on high alert for a couple months, and you know, and now I'm back around.
Who got it?
Right. Yeah, it's like, and now I'm like around a bunch of people who are COVID free. You know what I mean?
So the community, like that community that you're a part of, like what was that like? I mean, you're surrounded by hitters.
Yeah, it was like just like I when I was talking to them other cats, it was definitely like being at X-Men school.
Yeah, like you said, yeah.
Like you know, like when they show the scenes of like all the kids in class, like somebody running through a wall and type shit.
Yeah,
it was like that type feeling because you talking to somebody who is a chemical engineer, you know what I mean, or you're talking to somebody who's like the lead violinist of some prestigious orchestra, you know what I mean. You're talking to like these people. You're talking to like this dude, this weed grower who knows everything there is to know about growing weed. You know what I mean? So it's you know whatever it is. Like it was just a bunch of specialists out there, like rappers, singers,
right?
Just a bunch of really, really talented people. You know what I mean? Producers, just anything you could think of, entertainment, just almost in life, really. You know what I mean?
Wow. So when I think about that, like, you must be becoming like super self-aware then, like of you, like what was that like? Yeah,
I mean, well, you start seeing. And you know, and there's always more. There's always like more to learn. There's always things that you like. Like I was on that Clubhouse app last night. And I heard somebody talking about getting verified and claiming something on, you know, and just there's always something else to learn. But you do become more aware because you start understanding things on another level. You start kind of seeing how things work. You know?
The camp, you guys were the foundation.
Yeah.
You guys kept everything up.
Oh yeah.
You know, so you guys are without that, those 4 shows may not. I mean, they probably still go on, but they don't go on with the level of community and value.
Oh yeah,
you know,
they definitely would have went on, but it was like
just a different feel, maybe.
Yeah, and being there, you saw that it was like it was about what was taking place on that stage and what was about, and it was about comedy because comedy is is a source of where all of this comes from.
Yeah.
So, but when you just saw that it was just more to it, that it was about comedy, but it was also about community. It was also about people, and it was about networking. It was also about networking with good people and just being in a safe environment.
Safe environment. Safe environment. See, some comedians don't understand that, and I'm not trying to put anyone down, but I just want, like, there's a guy out here in Hartford who's doing something where he's bringing the community of comedians together to, no, but I say that because, like, I you know what I'm saying? No, but I only say that to be a dick, but 2, just because, like, I would love to have what you've learned and bring it to, like, I value you. Tremendously. You're very welcome. And I value the other comics, especially young idiots. The ones who talk shit and complain about other comedians, about why they're not getting this. Yeah, you know who you are. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Yeah. But the thing is, those are the guys who need the most.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they're so stubborn.
Right.
So for you, was that like a bit of an ego check?
We're going out there?
Yeah, or was it, no, not at all?
Well, yeah. I would say this. Anytime anytime you go around something like that,
Yep.
you either gonna check your ego or it's gonna get checked for you. You know what I mean? Like, anytime you go around, you want to have. There was definitely, but because and I said because I already look at like people like they already look at them like, you know what I'm saying. I already got this whole like, oh my God, this, you know,
like the aura. I seen it.
Yeah, like, I'm like, oh, this motherfucker is the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to get up, but still, like even if you feel that way, to get there and see it personally for yourself, it still does something to you because you like I know I felt like this and felt like this motherfucker was the truth, but then when you see what he's really doing and what he's what he was and it was like this his money that he putting up to
that's dope, man.
and and to just be around and hear some of the stories and just hear some of the the insight and then get a little glimpse into how this dude brain work. It's like you automatically almost just self-check yourself again. You check your ego to make sure you check your ego. Just
man, that ego's like nigga, you know what I'm saying?
Because it's that real, you know what I mean? It's definitely that real, and like so it wasn't, you don't. It's not something that you really. It's a humbling experience because it's like, damn, it's like I'm here. But it's also, and I don't walk around with like a whole big, like, oh, I'm the motherfucking man,
Nah, you should have seen him when he came over because he had this hood with the Chappelle shit. This motherfucker was like, doves was flying behind him and shit. I'm like, this motherfucker on the West End of Harvard, what are you doing?
Walk down the sidewalk like Prince.
Exactly, man. He was pretty. It was pretty. but I can understand that,
Yeah, you definitely. And I mean, there were situations up there where you seen that people came there, because I mean, it's just like when I went out there to kick it, to support my brother that got me out there. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's
he was doing a lot. He was responsible for a whole lot out there. He had a lot of responsibility out, and then it's like, as comedians, that when you got a show later, you can't sit there. You got that stress of a show on you later. It's just you got to go perform later. But now you got to throw an event earlier in the afternoon. You got to do. You're responsible for other things too. You know what I mean? Because so I was there to support my brother really. Down whatever he was, what he was doing. That was what from being out there I seen. I'm like, oh no, my bro needs some help. It's a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of pressure.
It's got and I mean, considering the fact how close they are, like he's been on the road with them, and then just like you've been on the road with Donnell, known him for 20 years, and it's a culmination of just like of just people being people.
Yeah.
And and that's the definition of loyalty.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and I am honored to hear about it. For me, it's just like, because when I'm sitting from afar from the cut, I'm like this, scrolling up, telling my mom, and telling my girl, it's like, what my degree of separation from greatness is?
Kevin Bacon needed 6.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, fuck that. But through that, but through you, I felt connected to what you were doing, and just because before we were talking about some more interesting stuff than this, but stuff that we're not going to talk about. But when you talked about those stories and you mentioned those things to me, I felt it validated my feelings because it's like now it makes me want to work harder.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because once you think you got to that level, like the way I see it, you were in that incubation stage of stuff that you were dealing with. You said, I got things positive. A friend hits you up from LA, 50 Cent show comes, Chappelle can't. Dude, you were leveling up.
Yeah.
And that process of leveling up is so difficult because you hit that wall. And then you're like, wait a minute, let me back up from this wall, let me see what's good. Oh, I can climb over it. And then you go, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That is what you did. Yeah. You leveled up. So now you got that experience. You're there for 80 days. You know, just you were just there to support your friend, not asking or thinking of anything. You just wanted to be there for your friend. 80 days over. What's your perspective like now?
Oh man, it's like 80 with everything being over. It's like I looking back on it, you know, it's like I grew. I felt like I grew so much. I felt like I was in like I went through a chamber, like the Wu-Tang chamber.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
hell
Like,
yeah.
I'm like, yo, like, and then it's like, and being able to be out there a lot of for the amount of time, I got to meet the whole camp. You know what I mean? I got to meet everybody in the camp and stuff like that, and got to make some connections with some of them there. That you know, so and looking back on it, it's like just being there always reminds me to do the work. Just do the work. Like you gotta do the work and get the work done.
I look at what we're doing, man, and I love what like Hartford's trying to get back up again. COVID and you know all that shit. I see Springfield doing their shit up there. Hopefully New Haven can find a way to get up. There's hubs, there's areas up here where we can make shit happen. I see someone like you. It's like I said, I told you before. So I did 860 America's Bedtime Story, which was a bunch of musings and ideas in my head. And one of the lines I was saying, like, you know, people tell me all the time, well, not all the time, but people tell me quite often that, hey, Rob, you're the funniest guy I know. You're the funniest guy in Connecticut. And I'm like, well, word, did Marshall Brandon move? Because until that happens, I don't know. But I'll come for the crown. You know what I mean? But the thing is, it's like, I really believe in my heart of hearts, like it doesn't, because I hold pride in being here in Connecticut, but I also hold pride in knowing that I look at you as a friend and as a mentor, and I can honestly say that, yeah, he's the best that I know in this area, probably even the New England area. You know what I'm saying?
Probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably like the whole East Coast.
The whole East Coast. Nah, from here to Pensacola. No, not Pensacola. It's like at the top because there's some other people in college. But you know what I'm saying? But I'm singing your praises because it's like, yo, you inspired me. But then when I showed you some of the stills of the show, stuff that I was working on, and you flipped it, you told me I inspired you.
Yeah, bro.
I was like, nigga. But
yeah, bro. But that's what it is. Like as a one thing as a comedian, it's like I came up mainly in New York, and and that process it taught me kind of how to treat other people, because in New York, you know, you're around these comedians and it's a circle of people talking, and then since, you know, this dude know you, but since this dude don't know you, now he want to start just easing his way over. Next thing you know, you standing in somebody's front of somebody's back, they don't close the circle, you know, and it's and just seeing that you know, it's like we men first, you know, and that's how I always approach comedy. I don't care how long a comedian's been doing comedy. Now, if you've been doing comedy for 1 month, I don't want to sit and listen to your, you know, theories on comedy, because you only been doing it for a month. And so it's like you need to be paying more attention than you are talking. But
yeah.
But once a person's comedian, like every thought, every idea they have is valid to me. You know, I don't take it like, I just take it like I'm talking to another man. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Or a woman. But it's, you know, it's a respect thing. I respect everyone,
and I appreciate
it. And I treat people how I want them to treat me.
And I appreciate that. And like, ironically enough, the first time we met was in Springfield. We was doing the show at one of Artie's shows.
Yeah, I was about to say it definitely was Artie's.
Yeah, definitely was Artie's show. I was speaking with a friend of mine. He's sitting in the cut, waiting for me to finish talking to someone. I'm like, yo, that's Marshall Brand. This motherfucker waiting to talk to me. I was like, excuse me. I was like, hey, what's good? And you said, like, yo, I see what you're doing. Yeah, like, your thoughts, I get what's going on in your head. Like, keep doing it. Yeah. And when you told me that, I never stopped, because that said, I did all right. I think I did decent. I think I did pretty. I just think people just like seeing something like me, Dave, wasn't like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But you got it. But I also remember coming up was some of the guys you mentioned, like, yo, especially being around comedians, darker comedians, just being real, me doing my shit with that thought process. Yeah. at that time I was hurt still because I was at a really tough point because people were stealing my shit. Yeah. But they would make fun of me for being too light skinned. But then the next night they were doing my shit. Right. And I confronted them about, I'm like, yo, what the fuck? But then when you came up to me and said, yo, keep doing what you're doing, I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, this is what it was. You know what I'm saying?
That's important to me, man, because it's like I could look at and you know you had jokes that night, but there are comedians I've seen go on stage and they didn't hardly get nothing from the audience, but me being a comedian, just me looking at Comedy High, I can see what that joke could be, and you can tell a difference between if it's their experience that's keeping them from getting there, like so that it's like sometimes you see somebody and they might have a funny thought, but you know that they're not gonna take it no further. But sometimes you see somebody have a funny thought, and you like, well, they just need to keep getting on stage, and they're gonna be real funny and real dope. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like what I like. I just for whatever you did that night, I just knew that your thought process was dead on. You know what I'm saying? It was like on the money for what you was doing, and that's what's important. Like to me, it's important to tell comedians sometimes, like, because this is a game that there ain't no blueprint for, you know what I mean? So it's like, I grew a lot of years I did comedy with no real guidance, so I just had to focus on just being funny.
Where do you see yourself going with your work, your material? And to answer like another part of the question, is being funny important anymore?
All right, well, look, this is the thing. Being funny is like industry-wise, I feel like being funny is very, very important, right? But as far as making gains in the industry, you don't necessarily have to be the funniest or one of the funniest
We've seen that a lot.
Right, to make gains. Now, as far as what Dave is doing, I think that even that it's like reaching a point to where you're like it's about it's all words, right? And so when you reach a level to where you can put words together in such an awesome way, you know what I mean? And that's what he's doing, and it's like, and so it's not, if like you can't get to where he is without being able to say, okay, I can just hit the switch. If y'all want to just laugh like this, I can make y'all laugh like that. You know what I'm saying? You can't be where he's at without understanding comedy on that level. You know what I'm saying? Because what he's doing is it's like back to that whole. It's like the purest form of comedy, really. You know what I mean? What he's doing is like the purest form, because it's not just jokey joke shit. You know what I mean? It's like taking real life and making it and making it like in real situations and making them worth something. You know what I mean? And so
that value,
yeah, it's like so I mean to people don't even realize like how do you go on Saturday Night Live, then drop another 20 minutes, but then you're calling back to not only Saturday Night Live in that 20 minutes, we call back within our sets. If we go do 10 minutes, our callbacks are in that 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's calling back to
shit he did 4 years ago.
To the Saturday Live, to the special.
Yeah.
When he told him, that bag, that was Iceberg Slim money, you know what I mean? And then he said, y'all not even gonna get that, you know what I mean? But he calling back, and then with the nigga lessons, and it's like, that's such a level of brilliance. That's like so beyond what's being done in comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
by a lot of these comedians, that it is like we're lucky that
he came back.
Right.
Yeah.
We're lucky he's here to do that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, because nobody else is doing it like that.
I'm trying my ass off. I don't know if I'll ever get to, but the thing is, I respect that, because that's true. Like for me, that's where I want that smoke.
Yeah.
That's why I want to try and fail and try and fail and try and fail. That's why I think you searching for too. I think anyone who loves and craves a level of validation within themselves will take that challenge.
I'm just grateful to be to have been a part of that summer camp, to go there and be there for the amount of time that I was there, and to learn what I learned. And it's just and it's not like there was a bunch of comedians up there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For 80 days, it's not like it was like 30 comedians up there. It was like 3 of us, besides the people that were in the main, that were doing the show. Besides Donnell, Mo, and Michelle, and Dave, and whoever. Like, it was only probably like 3 or 4 of us floating around. But like, people were coming and leaving and stuff like that. But people that, like, comedians that I knew were up there for like, a couple, like, for like 40 days or something like that of the time, or 30 days. There was probably like 2 other comedians.
Wow, so it was
some time up there.
Wow, so it wasn't Disneyland. It was more like Universal Studios. Like, yeah, it's fun, but
no, it was. But that made it even doper though, because it's not like. And there was a bunch of comedians who came and left, like who came there, came for the weekend.
Of course, yeah,
and stuff like that.
But that's
to stay there for a long time. That's what I mean, because honestly, if it was like 50 comedians up there the whole time I was up there, then it is not as special.
Plus, even if it was 50 comedians up there, right? You get that maybe a third of them would have been like the guy who always has to be funnier than the other guy. I had a run-in once with one of the comedians that kept messing. He was on SNL. He kept trying to tell me that my hair looked like Kid from Kid and Play. I'm like, okay, my name is Rob. Then he did it again. I was like, dude, that's twice. and then he did it like one more time. I was like, look, man, if you do it again, you and I are going to have to go outside and have a conversation. I'm not talking about I'm going to fight him or kick his ass or nothing. Like, no, you and I will separate ourselves and we'll converse, because I explained to you twice that don't call me that.
Right.
So there's that guy, right? But then, and that's what I was thinking too, like, now you have this community of people, you have this connection, you have this experience, you have this moment or these moments that you've created with them. It's like, shit, I'm trying to think of an example of it. You guys, like you said, you guys are a squad.
Yeah.
And that to me is more meaningful, possibly. For me, you guys, how meaningful was that? Because it seems like it might be more meaningful than anything else.
Well, I mean, that, like, it is when you, it is. And it's because it's like, when you, that's what, when you look at, like, we in the entertainment business, so when you looking at the lights and all of that, and the glitz is dope, you know what I mean? But then when it's like, when it breaks down to what's behind that, and that's kind of like what's more important, you know what I'm saying? When it breaks down to it, it's like, you still got a family, you still got children to raise, you still got children to love, you still got, you know what I mean? That's what it almost shows you what the most important things are.
What is it? Pandemic. I know things are kind of tough. I see that you got the show coming up on the 31st with Donnell.
Yeah.
You got Marshall Brandon Volume 1, the Marshall Brandon Story Volume 1 and 2. That's on all the streaming platforms. Then you got your Full Disclosure. There was a couple other things that I picked up on. Oh, your gear.
Yeah, my merch. Yeah,
yes.
Marshall Brandon Vibe.
Yeah. Now what is that now? Like, respect. Now what's that whole thing? I saw the E backwards.
Oh well, it's my initials there, but that's VI. It makes a V right there.
Okay.
That's an IB, and I put the E there, so it's a Marshall Brandon Vibe.
Yo, I see it now.
Yeah.
Yo, okay. Yeah,
so,
I totally see it now.
Yeah,
oh shit.
So that's what it is, and I wanted, and I wanted a symbol that, like, when people see it, like, you don't really see like it kind of looks like an element on a periodic table. So
right. That's why.
Be for element too, like, you know what I mean? It's like, so, but I wanted something that when people see it and see it again, it's like. And I didn't put my name in it. I just wanted to, just my brand. But when, it's one that will kind of, like, you'll remember it. Like, people will remember it. You know what I'm saying? I made it myself, too. So,
no, really?
Yeah, I didn't go spend a bunch of money on somebody to design me a logo. I was like, fuck it, I got it. You know what I mean?
I respect that.
So, but, yeah, you can get these at marshallbrandon.com.
See, And also like this too.
There it is.
This
and
too.
that too, right? That's like the traveler's umbrella right there. That's like people remember that shit. Yo, I remember that. Anytime I see that, I think right about you.
Yo, I appreciate it. But the thing is, it's like now this is a whole nother layer to like comedy, man. It's just like the branding part of it, you know, and people remembering you. Like it's one thing, and this is the one thing I liked about like you never told me to do stupid shit. You know what I'm like? You always like, and this is the one thing. Like you're very thoughtful with how you put stuff out there, and that right there is definitely representation of that. So you got now you feel proud on a whole different level. That's dope. Yeah, man. Like yo, listen, yo, the dude shit's just go check him out. You know what I'm saying? Like when he goes and moves away from Hartford, I'm gonna hold the bitch down and. Hopefully I can give it to someone else afterward. But this man right here is carrying the torch, especially in this Connecticut area. Hartford is very meaningful for me. I know it's meaningful to you because you're born and raised here. Yeah, definitely. So, anything else you want to plug, or you good?
No, that's it. MarshallBrandon.com. Everything's there. So.
See, the reason why I'm stalling is because I don't want him to go. Like I'm dead serious because I don't know when I'm gonna see him again. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
right. We're gonna win to another lockdown.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but this, dude, Marshall, again, appreciate you, homie.
Thank you for having me, bro.
You already know.
Anytime, man. Anytime,
Definitely.
Bro.
All right, guys. So that's our segment here. I feel so disrespectful when I. Yes. Doing the work.
Super excited. So excited to have him. So look for more episodes with me on the tub. Please, if you want to find his merch, please go to MarshallBrandon.com. Check him out. He is the funniest dude I know. Just gifted. And he's just busting his ass even after 23 years of comedy. Learned so much about him, especially with the summer camp that he went to and the experiences he had. Part of me felt like I was there with him. Just extremely grateful. Thank you once again, Marshall, for having me on. I'm just gonna drop this motherfucker. I'm just gonna surprise drop this bitch. So this is me thinking out loud, but I don't know. There's just something about this particular one between him and Max. Just had so much fun just working with guys who've been in the business for so long and who give me hope. And I just hope that if there's any young performer, any artist, comedian, whomever who wants to do whatever it is that they want to do, please look at Marshall's example and what he's been trying to build and what he's been around and how he's gotten around certain levels of greatness and not taking it for granted at all. Please keep that in mind. If you're a young stand-up comedian especially, or fuck that, if you're a young performer, things will come to you when they come to you. It takes time. No one gets exactly what they want in this world. I learned that from Conan O'Brien when he mentioned that on his last show for The Tonight Show, and I had never let that go. It takes time. Just because someone else has something that you want doesn't mean you have to get that. Why do you have to get that? Why can't you get something else to the equivalent, if not more? It all takes time. I learned that the hard way. So I present what I present to you guys so that you guys don't have to, even though you have to experience some level of it. So again, thank you so much for watching Marshall. I really appreciate you guys. I always say, you matter, take your meds, and let's get these hoes.